Cruella 2021, I've seen the trailer already, and my first impression was eh. I read an article on CBR, and I don't like to go there often. Disagree on a lot of the articles that they have to post, but they did post something about this movie. It's definitely a 2019 Joker remake. That's kind of, or I think it was 2018. When did Joker come out? It was very recent. I think 2019. I might be wrong on that. But this movie is reminiscent of that movie, of Joker. Probably a seemingly sane, stable woman, and then she just continues going through these scenarios and situations, these events, and then she gets more crazy, more crazy. She's just not able to keep it within, and then she goes and something snaps and something cracks, and then she's just free. It's kind of an unfortunate thing because I have a particular issue when you are unable to respect the original content. I know there's many disagreements. I know it's probably an incredibly divisive topic, but Avatar: The Legend of Korra, I have come to the realization that it is not canon to the original Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying the characters aren't developed. I'm not saying the plot is either good or bad. I'm simply saying because they break the original history and they retcon so much of the fundamentals of the last Airbender that it is its own thing. Just like the parody of Sword Art Online Abridged, Sword Art Online, the original one, and the original creators of Sword Art Online are creating a new Sword Art Online to go back and retell the tale from before, and I think they're going to be looking at it through the view of Asuna rather than Kirito. That anime is phenomenal to me. Not because it's good, but because I was watching it when I was young. I experienced it. There's so many flaws about it. It's like 38% good, objectively. But I like the idea of what they were trying to do. It's kind of like The Witcher. I'm probably getting a lot of hate for that. The Witcher from Netflix, the first season, is flawed. There's so many flaws in there. But there were so many great aspects that I'm actually wishing and hopeful that I'll still be in praise of. Hopefully the second season will come out and be good. For the rumors that I'm hearing, it's not gonna be as normal. Some of the rumors that I heard is that it's actually going to be a bit more woke. They're actually going to take The Witcher out of it. They're going to try to push female lead roles, which is very unfortunate because you had very strong lead roles that were women in the show. Even though the main topic was about Witcher, you had so many other characters all around of all these little twists and turns of and paths that they were taking. I disagreed and hated the fact that Yennefer had her story rushed too quickly. I would have loved to see an entire season, if not at least two. I would love to see more than one season, but at least have a whole season where we get to experience her being a poor, pathetic little runt of the litter. And then after episodes, after we get to experience all the ins and outs and the nuance of the politics within the wizard, whatever the society that she was living in, realizing, oh, I'm actually in favor of her doing it, but she's just doing it in a way that's very harmful to both her, and we don't want her to do it, but we can understand why she's doing it. We can understand it perfectly. It's just, I think they rushed it. I went down that rabbit hole because anytime that you disrespect the past, which is the reason I brought up Avatar: The Legend of Korra, they change a few things with the characters I'm not a fan of, but I do think it actually makes sense, but I don't think it's good at all. I would enjoy sitting down and watching The Legend of Korra. Whether or not I like it, whether or not I think they're trying to tell a good story, that's not the point. There's some things that I just can't tolerate, and when you disrespect the past, I can't deal with that. Cruella, I understand what they're trying to do here. They're trying to make it a Joker film. Disney is trying to find that niche marketing that Joker had, of having a character that's a little quirky, but he literally was in pain the entire time, so we get to see the justification of why he just unfolded the way he did. Cruella gives that vibe of she's a normal woman, but she might have a little, like, she might have a quirk here and there that isn't accepted and starts unfolding the way that it does, and we get to see her very crazy at the very end. We're going to go through the entire trailer, and I'm kind of taking a lot of routes to get there. The thing is, you gotta respect the past. This film might be a prequel or a sequel. I don't know, because I think we see both young Cruella and old Cruella. It doesn't feel like it's in the same universe. It's not in the same universe as the 101 Dalmatians, where Cruella de Vil was the main villain who, spoiler warning, kidnapped a lot of Dalmatians so she could make them all into a fur coat for herself. She was going to kill all the pups. That was like, yeah, go pups. Be free. Be rescued. Kill Cruella de Vil. Like, I was rooting for her to not be alive anymore when I was younger. Not with those words. I don't even remember. It's that this movie is a reimagination. You can have that. Have a reimagination of Lord of the Rings, if you will, with the new TV series. I think it's going to be coming out on Amazon. I might be wrong on that. But it's going to be coming out within the next year or two, or this year. And then, unfortunately, there's going to be some aspects of that are not pervy to Lord of the Rings. They're taking some creative licenses on it, which makes it a little bit less and less to be the original content. You can have a reimagination of the past or the future. The only issue I have is just make certain you respect the things that came before it. Then you can imagine whatever it is that you want. With Star Wars, the Star Wars Solo, they made it's just a little issue, but it does kind of make a lot of sense. If I have my facts correct, Solo had the dice that were important to Han Solo, that he gave to his old girlfriend, but got him back and then gave him to his new girlfriend Leia, which kind of disrespects the reason that the semblance of the dice were not of Leia, but of his old girlfriend. I might have that incredibly wrong. It's just, I heard that little critique and I was like, ooh, that is correct. Why did they do it that way? It's weird. Try to keep the continuity of the past. If anything, leave it alone. Take little bits and pieces you like about the universe and then extend it and make something different. You can have whatever it is that you want. You just gotta respect the past. So there's many other things that I could go in a direction, but let's get right into this.
From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently than everyone else.
I saw the world a little bit differently than anybody else. I know what they're trying to do here. It feels a little bit Joker-esque, or Joker-esque. I don't understand why they're doing this. Well, female empowerment or something. Well, that's kind of a buzzword nowadays. But it just feels a little weird to have this as the background. But if I was to give it enough time, I'd probably be open to it later. After it maybe comes out a DVD, maybe 2 years later, I'd be like, you know what, this film, I should have actually given it a second thought or something.
That didn't sit well.
See, this is the Cruella de Vil. Again, Emma Stone. This is the type of character that I would love to see an entire movie out of. Maybe having it like The Devil Wears Prada. I haven't seen the movie. I've read the summary of it. I think that would be a better movie for Cruella de Vil if you wanted to create this entire universe in a live-action remake. I think they could really do this. I just think they're doing it one movie at a time rather than thinking the long-term, Disney, in the long term of trying to create this entire universe. They do have a lot of material, but they don't have a universe. Pixar is a great example of creating a universe. You will often see, or even Hercules. Hercules is a great example, the Disney animated Hercules film. They have, I'm trying to remember, when Hercules is getting his quote-unquote photo taken, he's getting his, after he becomes a hero, a quote unquote hero, not the actual hero, to return to Olympus as a god. He's getting his he's getting painted on a vase, and what he's wearing is Scar's skin. So those little tiny things with Pixar, there's some things with seeing those little three-eyed aliens in some of the stories. We get to see cars. One of the bugs that got zapped in Cars, that was no, what was it? I mean, there's some Easter eggs that you get to see in some movies and another. Disney, I think, is failing and trying to pump out the next thing, trying to pump out the next thing, trying to pump out the next thing. They're not creating this foundational growth. It's something that I want to do eventually in my lifetime. It's something that I am working on behind the scenes, but don't hold your breath. It's going to take years. Or I'd like to say at least 2 years or something, but it's going to take some time for me to do it. I want to create this type of universe where if there's a short story that's made, anything that comes out of our company for whatever reason, if one person's doing a side project, there will be a requirement that how are you connecting it to this world? You can have whatever universe you want to create, but how can we interweave these things? And I don't think Disney in the long run is going to be doing that. I think they're just trying to find what's the most profitable at the time. It's an unfortunate thing when you push out the creative process and you have the financial department be the executives of the company. The financial department, the financial CEO, what is it called? The CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. You should never have the Chief Financial Officer ever be at the lead, the helm, have almost any weight. Almost. It's important to make profit. It's important to keep things financially solvent, not financially solvent. Isn't solvent like negative? Like you don't have anything? Financially profitable. Let's just go with that word. Because the chief financial officer or the financial people who are financially motivated focus on the numbers, but not necessarily the long term. They might think the long term with money, but what about the stories that they're creating? If a story, Call of Duty is financially profitable, but you know how many other good stories like Titanfall 2, that gone by the wayside because it wasn't as financially profitable. It's why the company who did Titanfall 2 didn't make a Titanfall 3. I think they are actually making it in the background, but they needed to focus on a project that was going to net them profit, and that's why they created Apex Legends. The 3-team, what is it called? Where everybody's against each other? It's not an arena. It's I am blanking on the names here. Like, come on, brain, come on, mind, work. Don't make me drink Everclear. Glug, 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 glug. So, let's get back.
Some people. But
See that? I want to see the other character. I want to see an older, mature, old lady. And I want to see her have some justification and reasoning, or maybe Again, I think Emma Stone is young Cruella.
it wasn't for everyone.
Hellhole.
I guess they were
Deville.
always scared.
To be honest, I'm okay with quirky, blatant, on-the-nose type of references. I give a lot of lenience to a lot of movies because sometimes it's not about the objective nature of whether or not there should have been more or less lighting. Sometimes rewatchability is what matters most. There's some movies I watch, like I'm binge watching Psych, the TV show, a series. I think it has 8 seasons. I'm on my 5th. I think I'm about halfway through the 5th season. I don't think it's episode 7 or something. And I'm binge watching it. There are some I caught in one of the episodes where they actually fast forward and rewind because they needed to edit the clip, and you can catch it. There's some moments where you can tell, oh no, they're definitely actors. Some of the quirps, some of the lines that they say, it's a bit outlandish, but guess what? I find it enjoyable. It's exciting. It is fun. Doesn't mean that objectively it's good. It's just the rewatchability is a major factor I think most critics do not take into account. If something has a rewatchability factor, guess what? Good. The success. Check that off.
I'd be a psycho.
Pest control. Okay. I'm kind of okay with that. If we go back to the little logo here, I like this idea. I think this is a little bit too dark when it comes to Disney. I like the idea of what they're trying to do. I might be hesitant just because it is Disney. I'm not giving any money to Disney whatsoever. I guess I shouldn't really be talking about Disney products, but the movie itself, it hits home. It goes back to nostalgia of the early years of my life. Got to pause it just because of the copyright stuff, so I'm just gonna. There we go.
But a new day brings new opportunities.
See, I like this. It feels classic. It feels classy. I like it a little. What is it? Where not Mardi Gras, where everybody Masquerade. I think that's what it is. Masquerade, where everybody's has eye blinders on. It'd be funny if they made an entire film with nothing but blinders, and everybody had to go through the entire movie with blindfolds, but everybody had to try to act as though they didn't have blindfolds on. That would be amazing. If anybody dropped something by accident, their attempt was to not do it, but they did it by accident. And then you see the interactions of people trying to stay in character, but they're giggling, and it's like a classic SNL skit. I would love to see. That would be amazing. I would sit through an app. That would probably be the next Monty Python movie. Everybody is so. There's only one person in the entire world who doesn't have a blindfold on, and is so baffled and curious why no one in the world just doesn't take off their blindfolds, because everyone around them thinks that they are the ones that are correct, or like quote unquote. You could probably poke at societal norm, or because everyone else has their blindfolds on, I have my blindfold on. You could have it where the one person who doesn't have a blindfold on is the critical thinker, who's thinking outside the box, who's thinking outside of what societal norms are. Whatever message you want to have, I think that plot would be amazing. I would probably pay to see it. I would love to see a trailer of that. Just a little 2-minute clip of people acting a fool.
And I was.
See, I like this. I love it when movies do this. You don't have to show us the main character. This could have been one of the first scenes in the trailer. You could have us not know who this person is. Of course, the entire title is Cruella. Having us... Oh, and a little quirky thing right here on the left-hand side is the Dalmatian dress. It's a little quirky thing. Of course, it's blatant. Of course, it's on the nose. But it's not telling you, it's showing you. That's what I like about it. One of the things that they did in Wonder Woman 84, horrendous movie. I'm trying to... No, Pedro Pascal, good actor. Disagree with him in the real world, but he actually did pretty good. There was a plot point with him and his son that I would love to see more of. But that's neither here nor there. There's some blatantness. They were trying to quote-unquote foreshadow the nerdy lady with glasses, whatever. Her shoes were of leopard skin, if I remember correctly. I'm kind of okay with that. I'm okay with the blatantness on the nose type of situations. It's one of those of it's like what's a good example? It's like having a small little red ball that you see every 5 to 10 minutes. And maybe the shade changes from dark red to light red, and we see that there's this transition, and maybe the mood increases. Even though we can point it out and like, hey, look at that. Yeah, I'm looking for these things because I've been trying to find these things. I'm trying to analyze movies, and when I try to analyze movies, I start seeing it more and more. So a person who hasn't seen it more and more may not pick it up at the first point, and it's really cool when you go back and you start trying to find them. It's really cool. One great example is the Aquaman movie. Flawed as it is, I think there's some very choice moments in it. I think overall it's an okay film. It's an okay film. I would definitely rewatch it. There's some one issue that I have is they do try to make it a very climate change. There's a climate change dialogue that happens, and it's like, oh, you're pushing a narrative. Because for me, it's a buzzword. It's like saying the word diversity and inclusivity. It's just nonsensical words now. I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to point out something, but it just becomes such a. Or I could give you a good example as this: when Christianity, when Christian apologetics, and apologetics doesn't mean to apologize. It's a 15th century or 16th century word where it means to give evidence for. And within Christian apologetics, a buzzword for me is the fine tuning argument. It is such, for me, I've heard it so many times, people reference it. It's like saying God exists and the Bible is real. I'm not saying whether or not that is a valid argument or not, whether or not that is a true or untrue statement. I am simply stating that when you use the Bible as the basis of trying to prove that the Bible is real, you lose everybody who's trying to convince anybody that you have a sound argument. It's not that of whether or not it is real, it's that you're using it as the basis, so anytime that somebody says anything, oh, God did it. God did it. That's a buzzword too. So that's what I'm trying to explain why I think and feel the way that I do, and I hope that's actually helpful for everybody out there. Like, I want to make certain that regardless of how accurate I am or how correct I am, I want to be as accurate as I possibly can. So let's go to the next one. Again, good scene. I love this scene. It's really good.
Make a statement.
See, this is an awesome scene. Like, I love it. Plus the decor, everything's matching. You could definitely feel fancy and rich and lovely. And then all the Dalmatians are growling. I think this is awesome. It does play into the nostalgia of the 101 Dalmatians. Didn't they do like 102 Dalmatians? I don't know. But this works for me. That actor. Even though I love him, he's been in a few movies that I love. Kingsman, I'm certain he's done many more. So don't hold me to this. It's just the movies that I've seen, the ones that are coming to the top of my head. Kingsman, I think the second one, without giving any plot away, I loved him more in the first one. I have reasons why I love him more in the second film. Overall, I love him in the first one. A lot better. But I love him more in the second one for some moments, okay? So just want to put that out there. I think he's a little bit overused right now. He's kind of, I wouldn't say like Emma Stone, but I would say like Tom Holland. No. Tom Holland might be an overrated actor. I do think he tries. If you're trying to give him a rebranding, if he gets away from Disney, see what he can actually do on his own. I think if he, like maybe 5 to 10 years from now, if he separates himself from Disney, he might be a phenomenal actor, taking roles and stretching his acting beyond the role of Spider-Man. I know that he has done some movies, but he's done movies with people in Hollywood. If you can separate that, if he can do that, I think Tom Holland in 5 to 10 years could be phenomenal. But he's kind of weak for me. This is the Cruella. That's the Cruella that I want right here. This right here. This is the Cruella that I would love to see. Not the Emma Stone version. But Emma Stone is a good actor in here. She's just solid actors. But this is the actor. This is the who I want.
How does the saying go?
And magic. That's a big issue for me. Where in the 101 Dalmatians was Cruella de Vil ever magical? It's cool in this universe. It is not canon to the 101 Dalmatians, which begs the question as to why are you doing this? Why not have the next movie be it where she's John Wick? It would be a really cool imagination, but it's not Cruella anymore. It's a multiverse Cruella, and a big issue that when you have a multiverse of Spider-Man, eventually Spider-Man becomes not Spider-Man anymmer. That's an issue. The essence of, let's just say, Batman and the multiverse was it the multiverse? in Infinity Crisis or whatever, to have it where of all the infinites, even though there's some contradictory things of having multi-universes all tied together in certain ways that if you don't take an action, if you take an action, there's a new universe, but if you don't take an action, there's also a new universe because you're the universe that didn't take that action. So if there's some flaws in that logic, but it's still an enjoyable film. You start removing the essence of Batman, or you can have these multi-universes, you can have all these alternative universes that challenge the main universe, Batman. And that's why we can extrapolate who, like, not just the best Batman. I'm trying to think of the one movie with, the one video game. It was Mortal Kombat, but for the DC universe, where you have all the superheroes fighting each other in Mortal Kombat style. I'm trying to think of what that game is. But that story is phenomenal. It is phenomenal because Batman is Batman regardless of the universe you live in. That's an awesome thing. It is an amazing little quirk that they had. And I'd love to see a movie about that. I'm okay with that little quirk or tidbit, that little detail of, multi-universes. It's really cool. See this. Cruella de Vil, Emma Stone, I think she's a solid actress. I think some of her acting in this little trailer is good. But it's weird as to why you would introduce Cruella de Vil with magic. It's like, oh, it's not magic. Yes, she set something on fire on herself, and she didn't get burned. She's magical.
I am woman. Hear me roar.
Oh, I didn't catch that the first time. I am woman, hear me roar. Oh, it is so female empowerment, and it's a buzzword for me. It really is. It's not that females can't get empowered. It's not that women shouldn't be powerful. It's not that women aren't powerful. It's that I just get so... It's a buzzword nowadays. It's like... Because if I was to apply the same standard... Again, a male film... A film with specifically... And primarily men. Let's just say most movies. I would agree. But one of the quotes that he says, like, I'm a man. I'm awesome. Like, that's weird. You're not a man because you say you're a man. You're not a man because you're self-congratulating yourself. You're a man because of the character you take. You're a man because you step up and actually do the work that's needed to get done. That's the hero's journey. That's the whole point of being a man is you don't claim yourself to be one. It doesn't matter what you think, it's what you do. And that's kind of, again, it's the difference between men and women, I would say. And I guess that would be a very sexist thing in the world. So let's just move on. That I don't get this Batman thing. This is why all these bats. You could have an entire film designed like it was without the magic, without this Batman feel. This feels like what's the movie? The Suicide Squad, the DC universe. The DC universe, Suicide Squad. You don't have to have it like that. You can have it where everybody's just talking, everybody's having, and it's the relationships, it's the struggles within trying to climb up the ladder of the social construct. Maybe Cruella, an entire film of Cruella not becoming Joker-esque, but instead climbing up the quote-unquote corporate ladder and what she does in order to obtain her wealth, that she becomes emotionally detached, and through the process of that's why she doesn't even care. Well, she does care to kill the 101 Dalmatians so she can get a fur coat. That she literally has that she becomes a psychopath, or a sociopath, not a psychopath, but a sociopath who has an inability to feel. And this is just how it manifests. It's not that she goes around and kills everything. She doesn't kill anybody. It's just she has no empathy or sympathy in being able to relate with another, like, oh, it's a dog, it's like we get to do whatever we want to it type of thing. It's like, oh, wait, whoa. We could see that process, and it'd be a very adult concept. And as a child, you may not know the full breadth of it. I think that would be a better film.
I'm just getting started, though.
See, I'm kind of okay with Emma Stone's Cruella de Vil. I'm kind of okay. There's some hesitancy of of the plot itself in the movie. It's unfortunate. I think Emma Stone is a good actress. I think she's kind of solid. I think she's a very solid actress. It's just this movie itself is unfortunate for her to be in. I hope she is successful. I don't wish any ill upon her. I wish much success and much love and respect for her. But the movie itself sort of brings her role down for me. See, like that. Again, it is an emotional scene and moment, but why? Why do you have this? This scene definitely tells everything. Her hair's unwinded, is not made. Her eyeliner, her mascara is wet and weeped and dripped. You can definitely tell that she was distraught about something. Her face does not look... Is this old? Is this Emma Stone? Because if so, she looks really old in this one scene, but I'd have to give her props, or to the directors or whatever, making this one scene make her look older than she was, if this is not a different actress. Ooh, that's a really good scene. If we go back here, it's a really good foreshadow because everybody is wearing their the half black, half white hair. That's actually something I saw her hair walking down the stairs, but I didn't stop and actually look at everything. That's pretty cool.
The thing
is that blood? Like each word is blood?
the thing is,
It is. This is from Disney. This is a quote-unquote family film. Pirates of the Caribbean is not necessarily a family film. It is very much a PG-13 plus film. I'm okay with the PG-13 plus type of genre, but if you're gonna, as a Disney film, trying to produce something that is like this, it's kind of baffling as to why you're doing it. It's like, oh, kids are growing up nowadays. It's like, I don't think you're catering to kids anymore. I think you're trying to cater to the adult who will bring their children with you rather than, I don't know.
the thing is, I was born brilliant.
Again, it seems like she's just crazy for the sake of crazy. Within this trailer, we haven't seen her be crazy. It's not her acting. I like the fact that Emma Stone is playing Cruella. It's the plot really hasn't, at this point, given us... she's crazy, she's just thinking outside the box. I think it's going to be a very shallow female empowerment film where I am woman, hear me roar. Anytime that you hear that, I always think of the opposite. I am man, hear me roar. It's like, that's weird, dude. It doesn't matter what... you can't just call yourself a man. It's your character. That's what makes you a man.
Born fast.
What is this all about? Again, it's all over the place. I like the idea of what they're trying to do with the characters. I like the idea of it, but then it takes it goes left field, and we've escaped reality. Why is she outlandish? Is this a musical? Why is it a musical? Why would they be doing... Like, they can do a musical. Why are they doing a musical with this style? It's like they're trying to blend Suicide Squad, and Joker, and what's the other one? Sweeney Todd. That's the one I was thinking of. Sweeney Todd. They're trying to make it that type of Victorian era, if I have the name correct. It's just a little off for me.
And a little bit mad.
Again, the Dalmatians that we're running, is that because they've Cruella kidnaps the dogs, and then the mom and the dad, the mother and the father, Dalmatians go and try to catch up with her? We haven't seen any of that. We haven't seen a puppy. If we've seen one puppy, I would be like, oh yeah, that's okay, we're going with the traditional plot, which it's not the traditional plot because she has magic, because it's sort of all over the place. They need to have simplified it, use less CGI, less blue screen, less green screen, less blue screen, whichever, I think is blue screen now, and just try to focus on more practical effects. You know, like that. Like this little sequence right here. Look at that! Again, those are awesome practical effects I would love to see in this movie. It just feels like, why are they doing trying to Joker feel movie They could do it where she's a very mild mannered, and I think people would love to see a breath of fresh air of, oh, it's not a radically crazy film. It's a heart wrenching relationship with maybe Cruella trying to take over the company of her mother, and she does it in a way where her mother gets cast out and ridiculed and shamed, and she's gone, and then maybe like one little piece of paper that says that she committed suicide off film or off camera, because we don't want to show that with a children's film. But when you grow up, you look at the film again, and you're like, oh my gosh, she actually did kill herself. That sucks. And then that's a different way they could have taken this film. Again, everything's burning. Is it because we saw her in fire just moments ago, but is that because everything's burning? Is that because she set it on fire? Is she running away from this? Why is there wait, wasn't there a fire in the 101 Dalmatians when they burnt the house down? I don't know. It's a question I have. It's not really a critique.
I'm Cruella.
See, I'm okay with this. Like, saying that I'm Cruella could have been in a very natural moment within this movie. I'm okay with her looking a little looking a little off. This could have been a moment where she's down on her luck. Okay, cool, fine. I would be okay with that. Why have the film the way that it is? Cruella. This film is not yet rated. It's not rated PG, buddy. Like, no, not from what I've seen. Well, it's probably PG. It's just some of the... No, I would say it's probably PG. It's just the marketing itself made... Like, there's lots of blood. As if there's no blood, I would say PG. If there's no blood or violence or if they start relaxed, then boom, it's PG. It might have very adult themes. It should be... Adult themes should be allowed within movies, I would say, which doesn't mean that I'm actually a valid person to be put in a position... to rate movies, but I think this could probably be a PG movie. I'm just uncertain as to why they would do the movie that they made in the direction that they did. It feels like a very classic, a very modernized Disney movie, the type of Disney movie that they've been pumping out for the last 2-3 years. It's unfortunate. I'm not going to be watching this. I'm not going to be paying to watch this. I'm not going to give Disney any of my money. I think it's again, the plot might be akin to the original 101 Dalmatians. From the looks of it, it doesn't look like it at all. I'm curious why they had what they had. What it looked like is that, if you really wanted to make it like the original 101 Dalmatians, have one pup, one small Dalmatian pup, and have Cruella looking at it, and then you get to see that evil smile and grin and be like, ooh, yeah! We get to see that she's like plotting behind the scenes, and then her dark desires come out. Or maybe like she gives the pup back, she turns around, walks away from the owners of the Dalmatians, and then she has a big grin on her face, thinking of like having the fur coat or something. I'm just curious why they're going in this direction, having a reimagination of the classic. How is this respectful to the classic? To me, I don't know, which I'm very hesitant about the song. Anyways, that's enough of me probably bitching about the thing. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Please post your comments, questions, and concerns right down below. Please smash that like, subscribe, and share button, because that would greatly help this channel out. And most importantly is that thank you very much for being a part of this, and I'll see you next time. Beep.